The South Carolina Hall of Fame was founded in Myrtle Beach in 1973 to recognize and honor contemporary and past citizens who have made outstanding contributions to South Carolina's heritage, history, and progress.
Rudolph Ernest Manke III was born on October the 21st, 1945, and grew up in the Duncan Park neighborhood in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Rudy and I both grew up in Spartanburg, and we went to the same schools and we went to the same church. And Rudy's sister and I were in first grade together. He was 2 years ahead of us. I think I first started realizing who he was probably in middle school. They had a science fair, and of course his science project had a snake in it, and it got loose in the gym. So from then on, kind of knew what he was up to and how he was looking at life.
And I was encouraged by people who I met. Ronnie Smith was a fellow student of mine at Spartanburg High School. We both had Major Rhodes as a teacher there. And he encouraged me, they encouraged me to go out into the field and to be what I should be, a naturalist. I was pre-med at Wofford, worked my way through school as a trainer for football and basketball. And then I took a geology course. John Harrington was the guy's name. They changed the direction of my life.
He had a professor that realized his love of everything else in the world, and he encouraged him to follow his heart, he said, and so he decided to do that and went to graduate school at USC. But he was drafted before he finished graduate school.
Rudy served in the U.S. Army from 1970 to 1972 and was stationed in Frankfurt, Germany with his wife Ellen, working as an X-ray technician.
After he got out of the Army, he decided that he wouldn't go back to school. We were married by then.
By 1975, Rudy became the first curator of natural history of the South Carolina State Museum.
And you know where our offices were? Right next to an operation called South Carolina Educational Television. Corner of Woodrow and Millwood. They got to know me, I got to know them. Nature Scene, wow.
Nature Scene ran for 25 years and is available around the world.
Well, Nature Scene to me is a 30-minute field trip experience. It's as if I'm leading a walk in the woods. I do that a lot. And when we started thinking about how we were going to mold for the show, you know, that two people on camera with a dialogue is very much like somebody leading a walk in the woods. And maybe the camera was the other person eavesdropping. And that's kind of what Nature Scene, I think, has been all these years, a 30-minute walk in the woods with two people chatting, hopefully answering and asking, you know, questions that the viewer would be asking. But it's a field trip experience, never knowing for sure what you're going to see until you get there. And then, of course, yes,
I
you saw
see
it too.
Coyote.
Coyote out there,
Yeah.
look at the tail just wiggling there, wagging his tail, jumping up and down, looking for something in the grasses.
I'd say a naturalist, you know, Rudy's definition was always, it's a person who looks at the natural world and marvels at it. And to me, that means you're, number one, just innately excited about exploring the natural world and walking in the woods and the fields. But you're also, if you're marveling at it, you're sharing it with other people. And I think that's what he encapsulated so well. Yeah, I think that is what a naturalist is. The definition for me would be Rudy Manke. Rudy passed away on November the 7th, 2023, at the age of 78.
I have had so many people tell me what they remember about Rudy. People knew him in different ways, and everybody's got their own memories of him, and more people than I could ever have imagined knew Rudy and felt like he was a friend. Rudy was himself. He was genuine, and people could relate to him. He cared about everybody and everything, and I think people knew that.
I think probably his legacy is at least partly displayed, and I remember him telling me, we were on the porch at Sand Hill Research and Education Center, and he said to me, Austin, you know this knowledge of nature that you and I love to ascertain and to search for? And I said, yeah, Rudy, what about it? And he said, well, Austin, everyone deserves it. Everybody deserves to have it. And that to me is the legacy of Rudy Menke. I mean, we all know something about the natural world, or we all experience it. Just sharing the natural world, whatever piece of it you have access to, sharing that with everybody else that you see. You know, that was the way he spread love throughout the world, and I think, that is his legacy.
My life would not have been as rich as it has been if it had not been for this network, for Nature Scene specifically, and for all the folks who had a hand in making it possible. I have lived a richer life than I would have ever lived otherwise. And that change from the State Museum to a national series at Educational Television was one of those things that happened in my life that made an incredible difference in my life as a naturalist. And I think about this often. I'll never be able to repay a lot of people who made a difference in my life. Parents and all, of course, but professors, at Wofford and at the University of South Carolina, friends here at the network, people who watch the show and say things. How can you ever repay them, for those kindnesses? But I've had a lot of joy that's come my way. And as I said, I feel richer than anybody that I know. And it has nothing to do with money. It has to do with those wonderful experiences that I had a chance to have myself and share with other people. Wouldn't trade places with anybody in the world.